News Live at 10.
We are bracing for what is likely to be one of the largest snowstorms in Minnesota history.
You heard it from the mayor of St. Paul. One of the largest snowstorms in Minnesota history is on its way.
That sounds crazy. We've seen some flakes and blowing snow already this week, and it has made for some tough travel conditions in the valley.
In-person school has already been canceled for the next 3 days in the cities. The legislature has sent lawmakers home, and officials are warning you to prepare too.
As for what we are going to see, let's send things over now to First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hutch.
Yes, an expansive storm system that we gave you First Alert to last week. First Alert weather days for Wednesday and Thursday continue. Snow, wind, and travel concerns to say the least. Let's get right out with the headlines. I want to make this full screen so you can really see this. And I'm going to tell you right now, these are differing than what you're seeing in other places, and I'm going to explain why we think that these numbers fit the bill for this storm system. Now, we have 3 days of snow taking place down in South Dakota and in Minnesota starting tonight. So their inclement weather is already ongoing. Our southern counties seeing snow as well. But here's the ticket. Now, this system's coming with a lot of its own moisture. And it's cold outside, and cold snow is fluffier and it builds up faster than that wet, heavy type of snow. So we're thinking close to that 5 to 10 inch range from Interstate 94 and points south that will be big impacts. Check out this dark blue color here, centered on about the foot range. Totally likely we're going to see some 1 foot totals in this area here. This does include all of southern Otter Tail County, Wadena County, Todd County. You get down here in the I-94 corridor south of Fergus Falls, we're into that 1 foot category. Factor in the winds, the blizzard conditions, it looks nasty. Snowfall amounts will rapidly drop off as we go up to the north. Now tonight, 1 to 5 inches of snow near Watertown and the South Dakota border has problems caused there. And the Twin Cities expecting upwards of 7 inches of snow in parts of the metro area and points south tonight. That'll get things started with a return of snow for tomorrow. Wind picking up 15 to 30 miles per hour with very cold air moving in. Means we'll have winter weather conditions to travel in here in the Southern Valley. Winter weather advisory for us. We have wind chill headlines elsewhere for 50 below wind chills overnight and into the morning. If you must travel in this nonsense, you have to have something in your vehicle to stay warm. Look at these air temperatures. Already wind chills down in the 30s below. Hour by hour details coming up here in just a few moments.
All right. Thanks so much, Hutch.
Today, the Minnesota legislature announced they are canceling legislative business for the rest of this week because of the incoming winter weather.
Meanwhile, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz issued emergency executive orders today to allow a number of state agencies to coordinate and deal with the approaching winter storm.
Reassuring Minnesotans that we're prepared to handle this, but we're going to need your help. If it gets to the point where they tell us to stay off the roads, take that very seriously. And again, should we have a situation, continue to monitor. Your local media are the best source of this, the folks that are here.
The Moorhead girls hockey team is planning to head to the state tournament for the first time in 17 years. They originally planned to leave for St. Paul tomorrow, but instead they left this afternoon trying to beat that storm.
Our original plan was to leave on Wednesday morning, and we had to change it because by the time we get down there on Wednesday late afternoon, there could be a foot of snow on the ground. One way or another, we're getting down there.
Valley News Live Sports Director Devin Fry will have more on the Spuds a bit later in sports. And with our eventful weather this week, it's a good idea to keep that VNL weather app handy. It's free. You can download it for free by searching the App Store VNL Weather.
New information has been released on the deadly shooting out of Eddy County. The sheriff's office and Minot SWAT team say a stolen vehicle was found yesterday near a Wells County farm. And they say it appears the man they've been looking for, Nicholas Poitra, had been inside the home there and may have rummaged through the owner's firearms. Authorities add Poitra should be considered armed and extremely dangerous. He's accused of shooting and killing 30-year-old Troy Thumb Sunday night at a bar and restaurant in Cheyenne, North Dakota. At this hour, deputies are still looking for Poitra. Call law enforcement if you have any information. New tonight at 10, Embattled Summit Nightclub in Fargo has closed its doors just 1 year after opening. The building had undergone a change of ownership last January after a deadly shooting outside the business in May 2021. It was the Africa Restaurant and Nightclub at the time. The owners are now requesting time to find an alternative use for the liquor license.
You have to be careful.
And again, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
A Grand Forks woman is sharing her experience tonight about how she almost was scammed out of a lot of money recently.
She says her banking information was stolen after playing some games on her phone. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling has the details.
They're going to send you in your email something saying that you're going to get paid, but you have to log into this other place.
Susan Caton is much like thousands of other Americans getting scammed online.
It's fake. Delete all of them.
Caton says she was playing games on her phone when she came across apps that would promise her money by just playing them. After putting her information into the system to get paid, that money never came. Instead, someone else tried to use her card in Alabama.
I was lucky. I got caught and alerted. They caught the act, and they knew that I wasn't in Alabama. They knew I was in North Dakota.
Patty Blazinski with Gate City Bank says they get fraud alerts all the time.
We're all using a variety of platforms, websites, social media. The fraudsters are using the same items, so it's important to get those alerts, but it's a very common activity that happens today.
The Federal Trade Commission reported in 2021 that nearly $6 billion were lost due to fraud, with some of those scams coming from online shopping, phishing, and romance.
We're all going to continue to use websites and make online purchases, and we can't be afraid to do it. We just have to sometimes take a pause and ask, what's going on here? Does it sound too good to be true? Did I expect this? And then reassess and reach out to your bank if you ever have questions or concerns.
Getting money stolen from your account can cause major issues, especially because of inflation.
What I'm trying to say is we're all struggling these days. Everything's higher. Gas, food, cats, houses, rent, power, everything's higher.
In Grand Forks, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
For more advice on how to protect yourself from scams and fraud, use the VNL app and click on this story.
And if you need help with an issue in your community, you can call our whistleblower hotline too. The number's on your screen there. Just leave us your tip. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it.
According to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection website, Border Patrol agents in the Grand Forks sector have encountered 70 immigrants crossing the northern border illegally just from October to January. The total number of encounters the whole year before was only 81. It's been a very busy stretch of time. Officials say this is likely due to the return of agents who had been assisting at the southern border. While the northern border sees far fewer illegal crossings than the southern border, officials say there is roughly 5,500 miles to cover.
Compare that to the southern border, which is less than 2,000 miles and has, 16,500 agents. So, we could definitely use more assets, facilities, employees.
Officials add they rely on citizens to help with their mission.
New development on a story we've been following now for weeks. Tonight, West Fargo leaders unanimously approved the Child Care Facility Improvement Grant.
The grant will offer different amounts of assistance to local child care providers, $7,500 up to $50,000. It's all designed to help with the lack of child care options for parents in the area. Changes from the previous meeting include a $1 million cap, an itemized list of eligible items, ranked list of priorities, and application periods. City leaders say guidelines should be finalized this week. The program could launch ASAP.
Meanwhile, a new four-way traffic signal is one step closer to being put up at the intersection of 9th Street West and 32nd Avenue, a couple blocks west of the lights in West Fargo. City planners say the goal is to help traffic flow. The plan now needs a contract approval for construction.
The Minnesota Senate approved a measure that would restore voting rights to convicted felons as soon as they get out of prison, rather than making them wait until they complete parole as well. Less than 1 week ago, the state Supreme Court upheld Minnesota's current restrictions. The measure now goes to the state House. 21 states, including North Dakota, restore voting rights to people with felony convictions as soon as they leave prison.
A snowmobile crash led to a pot bust on Saturday in Hubbard County. Authorities believe a man was riding a snowmobile and crashed into the back of a pickup in front of the home of 47-year-old Jamie Hunt of LaPorte. When deputies got there, they noticed the strong smell of marijuana coming from the house. They got a search warrant, and they say they found about 80 marijuana plants growing inside, along with additional marijuana in jars.
Sports betting legislature, where the idea has died before. The proposal introduced today would put the state's indigenous tribes in control of betting at their casinos, as well as wagering through mobile devices. The state's cut could be about 10% of the wagers online. Proponents say it could raise $10 to $12 million for regulation and consumer protection. The proposal has a long way to go, though, before it becomes potentially law. It needs to clear several committees in both the House and the Senate.
Agriculture might soon look very different in North Dakota. That's because the House advanced House Bill 1371. That would allow corporations in animal agriculture, something that's been banned for nearly 90 years. Under this bill, corporations would be limited to 160 acres.
This is a good bill. This has been well thought out and put a lot of people at the table. This isn't 2015 because we're in adversarial relationship before. Now we're all working together.
The bill also requires that the majority owner of a corporation is someone who lives and works in North Dakota. The bill now heads to the Senate.
Still ahead on Valley News Live at 10, a new junkyard